YouTube fam? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tina and I make videos on lifestyle, home, and DIY projects every single week. In today's video, I thought it'd be fun to do a decluttering / organizing video, but this time we are specifically focusing on my craft nook / my craft storage. And with working full-time and juggling this channel, I just feel like I can never keep it clean. It's been a constant cycle of me cleaning it and then making a huge mess out of it. But this time I hope that I keep it clean just because I feel like I have a better sense of how I like to work. And I also want to give you guys some organizing tips as well as some of my favorite organizing solutions. So I hope that you guys are ready to go with me on this journey because it's going to be a long one. I also want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. You guys know I love working with them and I'll talk a little bit more about them later. And of course, I want to thank you guys. We are getting so close to 100K. I just cannot believe it. And I definitely have something planned out to celebrate. So if you guys aren't already, please subscribe to our little YouTube family. I truly appreciate everyone's support, so thank you guys so much for being here. And without blabbing on anymore, let me just go ahead and show you guys the before of my craft nook. So I've changed into something comfy and now it's time to show you guys the mess behind me. You could probably already tell that it is terrible, as always. But that also means that we can make it amazing again. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but I basically go through cycles where I keep things clean and then I make them messy, then I make them clean, and I make them messy again. So that's exactly the state that we're in right now. So let me just flip over the camera and show you guys the chaos. All right, so here is my craft nook. It is pretty much a huge mess from the ceiling to the floor, as you can see. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, I kind of showed the behind the scenes a little bit, and I share with you guys that this area gets very chaotic all the time. So here on the left side, we have my little art cart that has all of my most used supplies, and then we have the craft table, which this is what you guys see when I'm filming. So I usually have some sort of paper there, and then I put my phone up top, and then I film, and that's all you guys see. You guys see this beautiful area, but you don't see the huge mess that is around it. And I also have my ring light here. So I usually turn off my overhead lights and then I turn on my ring light, and this one is a pretty good one and it gets really bright. As you can tell, it's so blown out. Okay, so here's what it kind of looks like when I work. And it's so funny because a lot of people ask me kind of what I use to film with. And I literally just put my phone on this little contraption here. And it's not actually the sturdiest, as you guys can see. This is actually for like watching movies on your phone or reading or whatever. But I like to use a remote, and that way I don't have to touch the screen all the time. So I don't use anything fancy, and this works totally fine. So if you guys want to start making DIY videos, this is a great setup. It is so easy just to get started and share your passion with everyone. I'm so glad that I started this channel. So this is just, you know, my little creative space. And let me talk about this floor situation. I just do not have a lot of storage in my place. So a lot of times kind of the bulkier items I just keep out because I need to bring them in and out all the time. So I definitely need to figure out a better solution for that. And over here is some Dollar Tree supplies that I've picked up, as well as just a giant bag of raffia, because you guys know I love raffia in my projects. And over here we have some shelf storage, as you guys are familiar with, but I also end up putting a lot of crap over here as well. So this is gonna be the area that I start with today, so let's go ahead and start decluttering. Hello from VoiceOver Tina. So it's been about a month since I've given my craft nook a deep clean / declutter, and with the beginning of a new month, it was about time that I did some spring cleaning. And I always start by putting like items together into piles, and this helps me visualize how I can organize them into their little homes. At this point, we've definitely outgrown our apartment, but I'm making do with the space that I have to make it a productive, inspiring place to continue to create projects and videos for you guys. This channel truly has been my happy place, and I feel so lucky to be able to create every week and connect with you guys through my videos. I oftentimes don't take a moment to declutter and refresh my space because I'm continuously moving on to the next project. It also becomes daunting and super stressful, but this also gives you the opportunity to take a moment to reset and start over with a clean slate. The first smaller area that I'm working on is clearing out my art cart, and I find that moving everything out completely is just the best way to visualize how you can organize things better. So here's the current state of chaos that we're in. I'm really happy that the art cart is all cleared off so I can just reorganize. If you guys don't have an art cart and are interested in getting one, I think this is super great, especially if you have items that you use all the time. So I usually put my most used items on top and then my paints at the bottom here. And then I think for the very bottom, that's gonna be like my bigger tools. I'm still trying to figure it out. So I did get this cart from Michael's, but IKEA and also Target sell these and they're about 30 bucks, which is really great. They do come with their own accessories, but I found this at IKEA and I thought it'd be perfect just to hang on the side. And this way we can maximize the space that we have. So I think I'm gonna put my glue gun over here and then I have 2 more to hang on the side, and that's really gonna help us maximize some space. Inside the hanging cup holders, I'm adding in my glue gun, scissors, and other cutters, and some of my most used tools. And then on the top shelf, I'm using that to store things like my glue guns, pens and pencils, as well as paintbrushes, palettes, and palette knives. This cart is really great for using up vertical storage and having a designated place for quick access to your most used supplies, and I find that it seriously fits so much stuff in it. The second shelf is housing my most used paints, so I'm putting all of my pretty warm tones on the side closest to me since I use those the most. And then I'm grouping my colors together, but I'm not going to put them in a perfect rainbow because, to be honest, I will never keep it organized perfectly. So this system works perfectly for me. And then I'm also going to add in a small organizer which also acts as a divider. And here I'm putting in my special paints like my liquid gold leaf as well as my Dr. P.H. Martin bleed proof white. Oh my god, that's a mouthful. And I'm also putting in top coats like my polyurethane as well as clay finishes. For this bottom row, I'm adding in all of my clay tools, so of course I need my popsicle sticks, a rolling pin, some Q-tips, and as well as my air dry clay slip. I have a pouch that holds all of my other tools, and I've actually had this since ceramics class in college, so this is super handy. And then I'm actually going to cut down the sheets of my fine grit sandpaper so it's not as large and easier to store in this smaller organizer. And this is going to save me some space as well as give me quick access to it. Also, if you guys are eyeing anything in this video, I will have everything linked below, including all of the organizers I'm using as well as the supplies featured. So moving on to my larger items that were just sitting on the floor, I decided to clear out this drawer that had a few of my tech items. I really wasn't using it that much, so I decided to put my bulky materials like my joint compound, grout, as well as my air dry clay tubs, and even my polyurethane in here, and this is a super handy spot since it's right next to my desk, making it super accessible. Then I decided to make this kind of into my handy tools drawer, so I added in my gloves, hammer, and a drill. And if you guys have any pretty supplies, make sure that you put them on display. I've been getting more and more into dried floral DIY, so I have a bunch of these and I think they're so pretty. I'm removing it from its original packaging and I'm putting the most used colors into a clear container from Dollar Tree. I also DIY'd one of the lids in a previous video, so if you guys want to see how I made this, I'll have it linked down below. But I think this is such a great decorative and functional way to organize your supplies that are pretty. And for the other florals that I'm not using right away, I'm just going to put them into another container and put them into storage. Now that I have a majority of my things sorted out in this area, it gives me a good indication of things that don't belong here that I use less often. So I'm just clearing it out and moving it into my entryway to sort into craft storage in my calyx unit. I hope you guys are enjoying the video so far. I wanted to take a quick moment to talk to you guys about today's video sponsor, Skillshare. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you guys know that I'm a huge fan of Skillshare. They are an online learning community filled with thousands of classes, and what's really great is that they are built for learners at any skill level. So whether you're looking for creative classes or business classes, they really have something that will suit everyone. The class that I'm taking right now is with Christopher Griffin, aka Plant Queen on Instagram. I absolutely love him. He has a Skillshare original class called Plants at Home, Uplift Your Spirit and Your Space, and this is the perfect class, especially since springtime is here and the growing season is at its peak. Skillshare is constantly updating their library with new classes, so you are sure to find a new class every single month, and their premium membership is less than $10 a month with an annual subscription, so you guys can explore all of their classes at an affordable price. If you guys are interested in checking out Skillshare, make sure that you click on my link down below. The first 1,000 people are going to get a free trial of their premium membership, and with that, let's get back to reorganizing my art supplies. Alright, so we made some good progress, but there's still so much to do. The next area that I need to tackle is my entryway, and if you guys remember, I actually made over this area at the beginning of the year. It holds a majority of my craft storage, and now that we've been growing so much on this channel, I've just been accumulating a lot of items. I have a ton of craft supplies, and I feel like you can never have too much, but at this point, it just needs some reorganizing. So let me go ahead and take you guys over there. Alright, so here's what we're working with, and I actually did just move a lot of the stuff over by the nook over here because that is where it belongs. And if you watch the Entryway makeover, you'll know that I kind of have these little drawers, and that is where all my craft supplies are, so all along this bottom. Things did change up a little bit over here. I actually moved my shoes to this side, and we need a few more of these racks so it could just fill up this area. And then in this corner is just a whole bunch of stuff. Originally our workout stuff was just over here, but then a bunch of my DIY stuff took over. So we have some thrifted items. These are items that I brought over, but it's like bags of raffia and more craft supplies, a random Santa box, and of course I have a giant cardboard roll. This actually came with one of my carpets, and I just kept it because I feel like I can use it for something. I just haven't figured out what, but you guys are DIYers, you know. We just like to keep stuff all the time. So this is what we're working with over here. Let's go ahead and get everything sorted out. So first things first, I'm clearing out as much as I can by consolidating the items into groups and also moving bigger boxes into my closet storage. And this is basically the only clothes storage in my apartment, so it definitely has turned into a Monica closet, so I am not gonna go into detail and show you guys that. I put out some extra baskets and boxes so I can sort things in, and I also started a box for donating items. It was definitely time to get rid of some of these items, and spring cleaning is such a great time to do big purges like this. Since this area serves both as our entry and craft storage, I was determined to make the space work and really figure out which items and supplies that I would realistically use. So I actually wasn't too sad to get rid of items, but instead I felt really relieved. I sorted through as much as I could, and I called it a night to prepare for the next day. Alright guys, it's a new day and my hair is already up, so that means that I'm ready to get down to business. I feel like yesterday I was getting pretty tired by the end of the night, but now that it's a new day, I just feel so much better now that the space is a lot more tidy. I just feel so much more positive and encouraged to finish this project. So I just got off of work. It's about 4:30 right now, so I'm going to give myself about 2 hours to get this done. That way I can just eat dinner and wrap this up. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the bins, and let's get this done. These giant bins are really great because they conceal everything into a neat box, but they often get out of hand. So I'm going to sort through my first box, which actually has all of my clay supplies, as well as the remainder of my Jesmonite and some silicone molds. I put things into little groupings, and once it was time to put everything back in, I actually reused a little cardboard box, and this acted as a divider. This is a great way to reuse some of those boxes that you already have laying around, and it's also a great separator, especially when you have so many little categories in one box. My next container is actually in pretty good shape, so I'm really proud of that. And if you guys can find these little storage containers at the dollar store, they're really great to compartmentalize all of your supplies. So I have things like glues, ribbons, and twines in this box, and there definitely was more room to add to it. This third box has all of my yarns and textile related things like needles, pom-pom makers, and punch needle supplies. I basically just had to shuffle things around and just pile things on top of each other. But if you guys have a good solution for these type of supplies, I would love to hear what works for you. I am still very new to sewing and textile DIYs, so any advice would help. So moving on to my last box, this houses all of my miscellaneous materials. So I have a lot of wooden dowels in here since I stocked up on them, and there are also a lot of random materials like scrap pieces of cane webbing, stencils, hardware, and lots of wooden beads. As I was sorting through everything, I realized that my wooden supplies were on the bottom, but those were the items that I was using the most, so I actually moved it into another box and put it right on top. And this is a great example to show that sometimes the systems that you established previously don't actually work when it comes to how you work. So reassessing this box was crucial, and in the end I actually had more space than I thought I did, so I was able to fit in all my spools of macrame in here. As for the rest of the larger items, I went ahead and just moved them into the storage closet, and these are all items that I'm saving for future projects and videos that just needed its own home. And I finally let go of this big box that my saw came in. I don't know if it's just me, but for some reason I always hold on to packaging just in case I need it in the future. Spoiler alert, you never actually do, and this type of reasoning always leads me to hoarding empty boxes that I don't need. So if you guys are like me, now is definitely the time to get rid of that big box that's in your house for no reason. Alright, so it's about 6 o'clock, so I think we are right on target to finish this in 2 hours. I have 30 minutes just to style everything and put on the finishing touches, and then I can show you guys some after shots and finally enjoy my clean, tidy craft space again. So for my entryway, I basically just moved the baskets of yarn onto my calyx unit, and I didn't think that it needed much more styling because I already had styled it before, and there's already so much going on here. And now that we moved those baskets, I went ahead and just cleared off the countertop. That freed up so much space, and now I had some room to add my Cricut. This has been sitting under my bed since I had nowhere to put it, but now I have the perfect spot for it, and I'm really excited to make projects with it again. And when it comes to styling, I just move things around and take a step back until I'm happy with it. And again, I want this to still be a functional area that looks pretty, so I opted for these bins from the Container Store, and these are really great just to grab things in and out of them. And these shelves are the perfect place to display my gorgeous colored macrame. I got these from my friend Addie's Etsy shop, and I will have it linked down below. I think these look so pretty and add in a nice pop of color. And as this was coming together, I felt like this area was just the perfect display to show my love for crafting and DIY, and I couldn't be happier with it. You guys, we did it. I finished this in 2 hours. It is now 6:34. So I'm really proud of myself for getting this done in 1.5 evenings. I just feel so much better in here, and I feel so much more inspired, as you guys can tell by the background. If you guys remember what it looked like before, it was just a complete mess. It looked like a tornado ran through everything, and it was also super stressful. So I'm really glad that I took the time to do this because I feel so much more inspired in this space. So let's go ahead and show you guys the after. I feel like letting out a big sigh right now because that's exactly what it feels like every single time that I clean my craft space. I hope you guys liked this video and also found inspo to clean your craft spaces with me. Decluttering videos are some of my favorites to watch on YouTube, so I really enjoyed making this video. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and if you want to follow along and see my updates of my craft nook, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I post on there every single day. And a big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. If you guys are interested in checking them out, make sure that you click on my link down below. The first 1,000 people will get a free trial of their premium membership. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you on Sunday for another video. Stay inspired. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!